platform, please stand up. If you're young and you're feeling it, please stand up. Put your hands in the air, make noise and say yeah. If you wanna be heard, can you please stand up? Welcome to youth platform, please stand up. If you're young and you're feeling it, please stand up. Put your hands in the air, make noise and say yeah. If you wanna be heard, can you please stand up?
Hello viewers, my name is Melissa Guse and my co-host is
Clement aka Mukahuru, and today we are going to be talking about one of Melissa's favorite topics, I should say, relationships.
Okay.
Yeah,
but today I don't think it's one of my favorite topics because there ain't nothing good about this topic as I'm seeing it today. Because
today I'm yours, guy. Saka, you gotta be excited. Can't you see? I mean, I'm hers today, as you can see.
Yes, he is. So actually,
why are you denying me?
You are mine. Actually, in this episode, guys, we're going to be talking about relationships, not just dating, a guy and a girl being attracted to each other, but relationships as the root of most of the problems that we face as the youth. There's nothing wrong with relationships, but we cannot ignore the fact that the STIs, the HIV are emanating from these relationships, right?
Yes, for sure.
Not every relationship is cultivating like a sickness. Some are really causing sad love stories, as we are reading in the magazines, in the newspapers, and everything.
Yes, there are always pros and cons to everything. Yes. So as to relationships, some people are actually in bad relationships where they are being abused. Mm-hmm. But they just stick to it just because they want to be in a relationship. Yes,
and for other people, they are really contracting like sexually transmitted diseases.
Yes.
Some is even HIV and AIDS, and that's in a relationship even, because these things do not come from other things. They come from relationships and being passed on to other people in different ways altogether. And
nowadays, especially with our generation, it's more than just relationships. Now we have situationships where, you're just caught up in the moment.
Exactly.
Things happen. But anyways, firstly, let us take a look at what the youth have to say about this, and then we get deeper into the conversation. So let's go to the streets and see what they have to say.
I think relationships can actually ruin lives, because if you get too deep into a relationship and you fall in love with a certain girl, it's going to be a problem for that girl and you to move on if you were involved in the casual sex that almost everyone in this generation is now doing.
Casual sex is happening and it's true. And us, the youths, we are engaging in it and we are seeing it every day.
I think it's actually a bad thing that's happening, because as we are now saying, most people are having baby mamas, the guys, and the girls are just getting pregnant every day. Every day you hear a new story.
I actually think they only need education on how to use protection and the likes.
Sexual education, I think, to be truthful, the youth don't really care about it, because they'll be like, I gotta have like first hand, so you can't be telling me stuff I need to experience.
Okay, I think the youth are taking sexual education for granted, because they are learning about it, and if you go to the seminars and stuff where they are getting their career guidance, they are the type of people who will contribute and ask so many questions, but they don't even listen to what they'll be saying. They just say it for the fun of it and they won't be listening to it. So I think people are supposed to start taking it seriously so they understand what it actually means, so that they can better their own futures.
I think sexual education is good, because it actually teaches the teenagers on how to cure that, how to protect yourself.
A cougar.
Yes, my guy.
Well, hell yeah, if she's nice, man. If she's nice and single.
A blazer. Firstly, I'd rather date someone my age, because we can connect, but someone like a sugar daddy who wants more of me than I can offer.
A sugar mommy? Ooh. Nah. I wouldn't date a sugar mommy.
Definitely, I won't have a problem with that. Nick Cannon did it, man.
To youth platform, please stand up. If you're young and you're feeling it, please stand up. Put your hands in the air, make noise and say yeah. If you wanna be heard, can you please stand up? Welcome to youth platform, please stand up. If you're young and you're feeling it, please stand up. Put your hands in the air, make noise and say yeah. If you wanna be heard, can you please stand up?
Welcome back, viewers, to the second segment of our show Youth Platform. Before we left for the break, for those of you who are just joining us right now, we were discussing about relationships and we're still in the discussion. And before we left, somebody was hammering me saying that relationships seem like they're all about the women, blah, 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 and all that. What were you saying, Mojo?
Oh, yes, I was saying that women talk more than men do. Let's be honest.
Isn't that nature?
Yes, that's nature.
Yes, thank you.
And in the end, since y'all talk a lot, the relationship always ends up to be pretty much about you.
But would you now blame all the ups and downs, including the contracting of STIs on a woman's mouth?
No, I wouldn't put that on the woman's mouth, but now you see what happens with guys. Us guys, we don't really love a lot of chit chat. Well, there is a lot to a relationship, you get it, but we don't love a lot of nagging, let's be honest. We don't love a lot of
nagging. Nobody loves nagging.
It's like when women nag, guys tend to go, to greener pastures. They still have to be faithful. I mean, when you chose to be in a relationship with someone, you knew you had to take their positives and negatives as well. But now guys go about,
Guys, about the greener pastures, that is where the problems are coming from.
Actually not
because you realize that somebody is sexually active, right? Of course, the girlfriend is nagging, but in the night they are getting down together, right?
Yeah.
And you say that greener pastures. Now on the greener pastures,
I'm
what
sorry,
are you bringing
I used the term
back?
greener pastures. I'm sorry, I used the term greener
It doesn't
pastures.
make it sound any lesser.
Yes,
but
I understand.
but my point is, it's from these greener pastures or these second options that
Yes.
we're getting problems like STIs because people are no longer faithful.
Yeah.
And we are ruining other people's lives because of our carelessness and in the sense of having fun. That's the whole point.
Yes, but communication still is pivotal. Like before you just engage with someone. Okay, you might be in a relationship for a year.
Yeah.
But they say there's always that there's a 3-month period of
Who put the timeline?
No, 3-month window period when we're talking about STIs and HIV, that sort of a thing you get.
Okay.
That means if you're in a relationship, you're actually supposed to be constantly getting tested with your partner. Not only for HIV, okay, and STIs as well, where we don't really have much information on that, but I'm quite sure our guest will deliberate on that later on.
Yes.
Yes, but you should constantly get tested with your partner. Just, some people actually think if you go to your partner and say, let's get tested, it's offensive.
Most partners will take that as offensive. I wouldn't say boys or girls, ladies and gentlemen, but most of us, just as the youth, we really take these things for granted. You engage with somebody that you know is sexually active, but you don't want to know their status. What point are we trying to prove right there?
And we are quick to get
we don't
involved
want to use
sexually.
protection.
Yes, we know that's real. We know that's real. People are quick
perfect.
to trust each other, especially
Very
if they're
much.
bedding. Yeah, and sometimes you trust the wrong people. We know what they call where you just look at someone, you're like, okay, I think they're clean, okay, we can just, have fun.
Exactly.
And earlier on I was talking about situationships. Like it's not necessarily a relationship, but people are just slipping together. Guys, STIs are real. And health is one of the most important things in life.
You know what? Actually, the most funny fact about us youth today, some things that we call relationships, honestly, I really want to call them that.
Yeah.
Because, man, oh my God, like, you know what I want to say, right?
Yes,
like
about cookers
exactly,
and
exactly. And what really happens there?
I mean, personally, on my own, speaking for myself, I kind of like older women.
How older?
Well, probably 2-3 years older
That's
than I
not
am.
really an older woman. We're doing old mamas here.
No, not those kind of cookies now. But then you know what? Relationships are more fun when you have someone who's actually more challenging. Someone who challenges you as a person.
So for us
as a
girls
guy.
to go extreme, you know how extreme we can get with the whole thing, right?
Okay, now your blessers is a whole different type of situation. Now you're dating Sekuru or
Yes.
What
They
the
give
hell
us
is it?
money at the end of the day. You talk about being broke, right?
You're 3 years older than I am, isn't it? So should come closer. Oh, right.
No way, we're not playing that
come
game
on,
right
man.
now.
Huh?
And actually, guys, we're talking this and we're laughing about it, but seriously, this is where unwanted pregnancies are coming from. This is where STIs are coming from.
Yes.
And what we're calling fun these days as the youth is really scary. Very, very scary.
And it's actually quite unfortunate for younger guys. You get it, like you've got girls who are dating these blessers. You know, they're saying, okay, he's coming with a lot of money.
Exactly.
Those guys are probably doing it for a ritual. Because you know there are these rituals that other people actually go for
Someone is very
just to make money.
superstitious.
No, I'm not superstitious, but these are things that are happening. And this young, unfortunate guy is dating this girl who's also dating someone just because
Somebody
of
else, just
they need
because
cash.
of
You
money.
get it?
Yes.
So it's sad when you actually bet that person.
And the relationship.
Not that we are not supporting people having sex. Let's be honest. We actually support abstinence because, guys, a relationship is not only about sex. It's not only about
There's a lot
fantasies and stuff
more.
like that. There's a lot more to a relationships. So we'd like to encourage you as the youth to play it safe. Yes.
And don't take it too casual. Guys, I insist. Anybody who wants to work hard on you because you're asking them about their status, you want them to be faithful and all that.
Let
It
them be
doesn't hurt.
offended.
It doesn't kill to be lonely. Have you ever seen any grave written dead of loneliness?
Yeah, if there was one grave, I'm quite sure you'd be in it. Anyway, this is the end of
I'm
our...
not so lonely. Don't say out my business. So, like, seriously, guys. Let's take relationships to be relationships. You don't have to make it something else because we play spin the bottle in college. We play drink up in the community. Just see somebody else. You know, girls, we love swag a lot because you really find out that somebody is getting down with somebody else and that's the person that you want. And you don't know how careless they can get during their
The
getting
issues
down
of
time.
side chicks and side niggas and stuff like that, it's quite common.
I'm
nowadays.
totally not against people who sleep together because that's their choice, but I'm very much concerned about the end results that we always overlook as the youth, and this is really contaminating our society.
Yes, guys, this has been an amazing discussion. Yes, we still have a guest.
Of course,
Of
we
course,
cannot
we have
say
a guest.
everything.
Yes, we can't say everything. We can't give you the advice. All we can do is just talk about it. Catch us after the ad break when we have the professional on the couch to give you more
Yes,
information.
a lot more than we have, guys, so stay tuned.
To youth platform, please stand up. If you're young and you're feeling it, please stand up. Put your hands in the air, make noise and say yeah. If you wanna be heard, can you please stand up? Welcome to youth platform, please stand up. If you're young and you're feeling it, please stand up. Put your hands in the air, make noise and say yeah. If you wanna be heard, can you please stand up?
Welcome back, everyone, to the third and final segment of the show. And today we have quite an interesting guest. This guy really motivates me. You know, he's got quite a resume. What's up, Taku?
I'm great, bro. How are you doing?
I'm good, man. How's it?
No, I'm surviving, man. Surviving. You know how it is. You know.
Yes.
That's really awesome. So as you heard that he's got such an interesting resume, we better hear it from him. Would you please introduce yourself to our audience?
Alright, my name is Tukudzumvingi. I'm age 29, currently studying sociology and gender development studies at Women's University. A passionate advocate, especially when it comes to issues concerning sexual reproductive health and rights. And hence you'll hear about the different campaigns we've been running, be it helping young people in the rural areas with sanitary wear, be it cancer associations, cancer campaigns, it's broad.
Wow, that's a lot right there. As you heard, he's got such a huge CV. So let's take it on to the first question of the day so that we can get our expert advice from our professional right here. So I'll get my first question and it reads, at what stage would you advise parents to start talking about relationships with their children and also the reproductive system and the sexual relations that they may want to engage into?
You know, it's quite interesting when it comes to communication with parents. You know, it has to start at a tender age, you know, when one is still an adolescent, right? Therefore, this young girl is supposed to know that if someone touches my body, you know, I'm supposed to actually talk to my mother or my father. Now, it will create a communication between the young person and the parent. Right? From that stage, this young person will grow, be it 20, that young person becomes a young person, becomes an adult. It creates that communication. So communication starts way back, you know, when you're still so young.
Yes.
So that's where it's supposed to start.
But then you realize that as we grow, there's some things that we leave behind. Like there's some things that we don't tell our parents. And with our generation, we've noticed that this is happening as much as we might not want to admit it. Teenagers now seem to take sex too casual. What do you think about that? What's the way forward?
All right. Like you rightfully said, you know, we're not talking about these issues with our parents, right? Because at the end of the day, in their generation, you know, they had anatete, you know, they were anasekuru, they were there with they. You would actually have, you know, those discussions. But now we don't have that. And because of that, we're now confiding in our friends. We're not talking about these issues with our friends. And at the end of the day, it's resulting in us as young people actually telling each other, if you're not doing this, if you're not doing that, then what say? You get it? So at the end of the day, that is what's resulting in us as young people actually, you know, doing whatever we do, because at the end of the day, you know, who's going to tell me how I'm supposed to actually carry myself? How am I supposed to react when something like this happens? So because of that, because there's no communication, because you do not really know who you're actually going to confide in, it results in a young person just doing whatever they're going to do. Because I'm going to tell you, as my friend, that so that's how it happens.
Yes, and actually the other reason why we should continue talking to our parents is that we have caring people in our lives, and it's a fact they know that we love dating, we engage. But for us to have information that will guide us well in relationships, let's try to talk to our parents, and they have to create a platform for us to feel free so that we'll be able to communicate, that we do not end up messing up in relationships, because the fact is we are truly engaging in relationships as young people. So we need genuine people to talk to about it, not just our friends.
Exactly. And most of these relationships, we know which people are sexually active.
Exactly.
So that takes me to the second question of the day.
Okay.
Yes, we have an information highway and campaigns going on a daily basis, but the statistics keep fluctuating and they're not really going down. What do you think is the reason for this said outcome?
All right. At times, it's how the information is packaged.
Yeah.
All right. Now, if you do not actually craft something that will attract me as a young person, the end result is that you will attract a certain crowd, but you will not attract us as young people. There's certain things that drives us, certain things that make us really want to listen. For example, I'll look at, you know, when it comes to issues concerning school, you know, you have your teacher that's teaching you guidance and counseling, right?
Exactly.
And this teacher is the same teacher who maybe was teaching you either history or something like that, who you know is mean to you. You get it?
Exactly.
So then whatever she is going to tell you,
you're not going to listen.
You're not going to listen.
Of course.
Because then you'll be like, mom's, you know, what
Exactly.
Yeah, I remember the other chat we had when you were talking about, you know, going to get condoms, let's say in varsity.
Exactly.
And then instead of the counselor just being the counselor, they try to act throw off a mother.
You get it?
Yeah.
It's a challenge, I'll tell you the honest truth.
Yeah.
Whereby, you know, you have the young people. As young people, we have rights that we have. And people need to understand that we have these rights. But with these rights comes responsibility. But then when I come there, you know, and I'm approaching this lady and I'm telling her that, you know, I'm 16 years, for example, I'm 17 years, and I'm asking for condoms. And then she looks at me and then she asks me, what do I say? Right. Because of that, I'll walk away.
You won't go back.
And then I'm not going to go back.
But hold up, I think for them to be asking that, it's not that they do not want us to have sex. I think maybe they're just concerned with the age, like the age that is coming to get some condoms. Probably the concern of that woman is not why are you getting condoms. Maybe their concern in the first place is why engaging into sexual relations at that young age. Of course, at 16 people would date, but maybe their concern is maybe we're getting into it too early. And for a fake guys, it doesn't always end up well. For somebody who starts at age just that.
But you do realize at the same time that as much as it's concerned, people will shy away from buying condoms. That's when they end up having
at the end of the day,
sex.
yes, they would have to just play their role. But I'm saying that their concern also is genuine. That why are you? But they do not have to scare them away at the same time.
Okay.
All right. So you're looking at these two different scenarios that you have, whereby one is acting as the motherly role at the same time as the service provider.
Yeah.
All right. But unfortunately, I'll tell you the honest truth. With the young people that I've met, it's always been how she reacts or how they are going to react when I access the service, when I actually ask for information concerning these services. For example, when talking about when I want to ask my parent, for example, you know, what's the story about condoms? And then the parent is going to ask me, what do you know you did?
What do you want to know?
You get it.
Yes.
But you want this information. And then when I go out there and I want this information, young people need to be told by the service providers and be given adequate information that will help them to make an informed decision.
Yeah.
If we do not actually inform this young person, how he or she is actually going to, how one might actually protect him or herself, she will just make a decision, but not an informed decision.
Yeah.
All right.
So that's the story.
So at the end of the day, they just have to play their role, give me information, and make me feel safe.
Yeah, exactly. You have
All
the
right.
next question.
All right. I'm getting too caught up. Our next question would read: how important is it to also get tested for STIs and not just HIV? And is it ever too early to get tested in a relationship, especially when you have just gotten a sexually active partner? Because when I get into a relationship, right, I have a boyfriend, and most of the times we talk about it, and for a fact, especially in college, that a guy comes, hits on you, what do they want, and probably you are interested. Is it ever too early to ask that guy that, what, before we get down to it, let's go get tested? Because we love experimenting. You realize that other people will just say, forget the condom for now. We love having fun, but is it ever too early so that you be safe in whatever that you are doing? Because we girls, we tend to share away, like, get tested. What, but at the end of the day, the guy won't want to use the condom. So is it ever too early?
Now, when you start your relationship, it's always important for you to know your partner.
Yes.
All right. It's not all about what we say or what we do, but then it's about knowing the health of your own partner. All right. Now, people usually they usually say that no, maybe when it's towards marriage, that's when you're actually going to do that. But it's important for you to know your partner's status. All right. That way, you will accept your partner for who he or she is. It doesn't help for me to love you, and yet I really don't know you. Let's say I love you, and then after 3 years, and then I found out that you actually have an STI, and I'm like, oh my God, it can't work. What happened to these 3 years?
All right.
You get it? And then there's the first part where you're like, why is it important for us to actually get tested for these STDs and stuff? You will notice that with young people, we usually talk about HIV and AIDS, but we don't really know that certain STIs that you actually need to get tested for.
Yes.
Right. You look at, for example, gonorrhea. Gonorrhea, if you actually if you actually delay actually getting the medication, what will happen that it will spread to your joint, it will spread to your skin, it even spread to the retina of your eye. You look at STIs such as chlamydia, for example.
Yeah.
If you actually have it and you actually don't get treated, what happens at the end of the day is that it actually even spreads to your to some of your reproductive organs, especially for a girl, and it can even affect your ability to even give birth. Syphilis, for example. Syphilis, if you actually don't actually get tested for it, if you don't get tested for it, for example, if you live with it, it even spreads to your heart, it spreads to your different organs, it even spreads to your brain. You get it? So these are different STIs that are out there, and as young people, we're not really knowing that these are things that are there. So it's always important to get tested early. It's always important to know that it's not all about HIV and AIDS. So that's how it is.
Okay. So guys, if the next time you go get tested, it's not only about the HIV. Make sure you have tests, STIs as well, with your partner. I don't know if you have one or not, but just make sure it's not just about the HIV. Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'll go to my next question.
Okay.
Mr. Tike, what do you think really makes the youth so naive about, and casual about these sexual activities? Like, how it is. I've been in an instance where my guy tells me, you know what, or something like that. They want to give excuses of why they should not use condoms or something like that. What do you really think is the cause of us youth being so casual about sex?
I think at the end of the day, it's about responsibility, right? Now, as young people, we usually enjoy saying that I've got rights, right? But we don't really understand that with these rights, there's need for us to know that there are responsibilities that are there, And sweeter, you get it. But then the day, are you ready? Are you going to be responsible enough for what will happen when you then indulge without actually using protection? You get it? So because of that, because the fact that fear also is one of the factors, because of fear, because of the fact that, as a community, we don't really talk about these issues. As young people, we don't talk about these issues. Yeah. We talk about what's trending. But when it comes to issues concerning You get it?
No go.
Yeah, you get. So these are things that actually happen, and if we're to be able to actually talk about these issues as young people, I believe that we could actually make a difference.
Yes, you actually realize that we as youth, we totally know that this girl that I'm going after or this guy is the hardest and everybody is after him, and probably that person is also interested in everybody being after them, and we actually take the risk and an opportunity to just get down with that person because we just want to be on the list. We just want to be profiled, that we once hung out with them. But at the end of the day, life is too long. Actually, when you mess up, you may think that you're gonna die next year and you live for 10 more years. That's something that we don't want to do. So that takes us to the last question of the day from my side. Mr. TK, there are so many myths about STIs. Can you explain about different ways by which one can contract an STI?
Right, now you do know that at times when it comes to us as young people, you're told, for example, that the first sexual experience that you have with a girlfriend, she won't fall pregnant. And because of that, you'll be like, so let's just do it without, you know? And then in the day, you really don't know that as
the status.
You get it. So in that way, you can actually get affected. Two, usually say that when it comes to issues concerning STIs, you can only get it through vaginal sex. Not knowing that even through oral sex, you can actually get an STI. Through anal sex, you can actually get an STI. But we really don't know about these things.
Can you talk more on oral sex?
On oral sex, we're talking about, for example, mouth to mouth or fingering, for example, right? I might even have sores that I might have. Right? And then you're saying that, yeah, we're enjoying it, you're doing what you're doing. But at the end of the day, you're actually transmitting these STIs. You know, I might even have sores in my gums when we're doing the whole kissing. And then you don't really know what's happening.
He's making it so scary.
It's something that's happening, and yet we really don't really know that, you know, these are different ways in which you can actually get contracting STIs. You know? So those are some of the myths and misconceptions that actually surround the issues concerning STIs.
You know, also at this case, you know, people will be saying, you know what, she's so fit. How could she be?
Oh yes,
Exactly.
visual testing.
Visual testing.
Yes.
Exactly. You heard it, guys. Even oral sex is a factor. So those who think they're playing it safe by just kissing around, you know, and not actually getting involved in it, it's still a factor. It's still a factor. So my guy, before we just round up, what's your general advice to the youth? You know, like how do we stop them from shying away from getting tested, and you know, just general relationship advice?
All right. First of all, I always say a relationship, it's always bound by communication. You know, how you talk to your partner, what you talk about, the different issues that you talk about or discuss with your partner, and also knowing your partner. You know, and I believe with the message that I'm going to send, call it the A to G of sexual reproductive health. A, abstain. All right. If you know that this is what you want, abstain and wait for the right time. When abstinence is a challenge, B, we're saying be faithful to one partner. Not two, not three, not four, no, but one partner that you might have.
Just one.
Oh yes, just one.
One,
C,
guys.
we call it the correct and consistent use of the condoms. Right. If you're going to be using your condoms, use them correctly. If you're going to be use them consistently. Right. I'm not saying that I'm going to use it here, then I'm going to stop. Then no, correct and consistent use of the condom. D, delay the onset of what? Of early sexual debut. Where you're saying that yes, I used to have sex, but now I want to stop. With E now, it's early treatment for what? STIs. You find out that you've got an STI, get treated, so that at least you actually know that you can actually get services and help your partner. F, we then say free and frank discussions on issues concerning sexual reproductive health and HIV. Let's talk about these issues. Let's be real. Let's really talk about these issues and not shy away. And lastly, G, get tested.
All right. Ooh. That's really coming in a way that we wouldn't expect it to normally come. So for everyone in every situation, you got your letter right here. For those who wait for sex, to have sex after marriage, you got your part. For those who are sexually active, you got your part. And for those who've been infected, you got your part as well. So thank you so much for being with us, Mr. Taco. I'm very excited you made it.
Exactly. So everybody, I think you heard really a relationship, the basis of a relationship is not sex. The basis of a relationship is communication. Make sure you follow us online. Follow the hashtag YouthPlatformZW so that we can converse more. And if you've got questions, you can always ask us. We can give you feedback. And Mr. TK, where can people actually talk to you?
All right, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. The all handles is Tukuzu Muvingi. And my contact number is 0734 342 394. That's 0734 342 394.
All right, we'd love to continue giving you this great information. So to our viewers out there, thank you so much for staying tuned and for being with us today. This marks the end of our show. Until next time, stay tuned.
Hello, well, nice to meet you everybody. I think it's high time we talk about this many problems facing the new generation of youth. I'm in my zone, let me step right in the booth now. I got the mic, check 1, 2. I know you feel the beat, but I pray you feel me too. As long you with youth, you part of my crew. I mean you and you too. Well, you can do anything that you want if you put us all in it, including your heart. Just get your mind right and admire the art of this life. I'm sure you can shine like a star. Work towards what you wanna be, let everybody feel it. You can fly past the sun, cause the sky is the limit. Let's be dream chasers, there's nothing we can do.